From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Beres.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Beres here on a Tuesday, and I hope you'll join in the conversation. We are going to talk politics again. It's so much going on with the new president and with what's happening now with former President Trump, where they go forward, not just with impeachment, but we'll touch on that this morning, but some other questions with our sitting president now, executive orders, things that he is doing right now in just his first few days of office. Also, where things stand right now with former President Trump and what we will hear from him, not just with regard to the impeachment, but what he's doing next and what his plans are. Could there be another political party? There was some news on that he might start up. Does he want to go back to hosting something like The Apprentice? Does he want to start working on a presidential library? I don't know. Things like that. We'll talk about it and get your thoughts as well. We'll put the number up in a moment if you'd like to join in the conversation. Thomas Schwartz is joining us, as always, from Vanderbilt, and it's good to have him with us this morning. Good morning to you, Professor.
Good morning, Nick.
It's nice to have you on. So you've been watching the last 24 hours, so much happening. Well, let's just start right at the top with regard to impeachment. And, they walked the articles of impeachment, I guess, over the tradition, taking it from the House over to the Senate, a symbolic thing, dropping it off. And as Nancy Pelosi said, yeah, we're going to get moving on this. And it looks like Chuck Schumer says the same. But, when we look at it, the big picture is how many Republican votes would they have to get to actually get a conviction in the Senate?
17.
17. Okay. I just sitting here looking at this. They may get 5 or 6. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, I think it's highly unlikely. And in fact, even President Biden was asked about this, and he actually also said he assumed that they wouldn't get enough votes. So in many ways, the trial is a sort of symbolic act, trying to air out these issues and basically create a situation in which Trump would be seen as so politically toxic that he wouldn't be able to run again for president in 2024, or that his influence would be diminished.
Okay. And I'm curious, through these proceedings, he'll have legal representation, of course, but would he himself, under any circumstance, go there for this trial? Would he have to be there physically?
No, although in the previous case, one of the precedents for trying a former official, the particular cabinet secretary who was tried back in the 1870s actually did come to his trial. Trump, I doubt, will actually attend his trial, but he could conceivably actually visit there, but no, I don't think that's likely.
And I don't know if that would be that they wouldn't call him or that he wouldn't have to if he didn't, but I think at one point I thought I had heard that he said, look, yeah, I want to go. I want to be there and tell it like it is. I don't know if he's changed his tune on that or if he's been advised not to, but I did think I heard him say something along those lines. They want to do this? I'm going to go there. I'll be there and I'll let them know how it is.
It would be interesting political theater, but I doubt he'll do it because it could also be if he would also face if he agreed to do something like that, he'd have to face some pretty tough questioning, and I don't think that he'd want to put himself through that.
Okay, yeah. And as far as you mentioned Joe Biden, some of the Republicans, it's more of a symbolic thing. Now, it still doesn't erase the fact that he has now been impeached twice. He just hasn't been convicted in the Senate. And with regard to the concern, thinking about 4 years from now, I wonder how Republicans feel about that one way or the other. I see that the president, former president, is now saying and has tried to reassure, reaching out to some Republican leaders, that he has no intention of starting a third party, but is thinking of just strengthening his brand within the Republican Party, or trying to strengthen the brand to some degree. And who knows what it'll be like in 4 years. I don't know if he really. How old will he be in 4 years?
78.
78?
He'll be Biden's age.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, of course, and he could, conceivably. I don't know. Do you really honestly think, while it certainly could be, something that shakes things up, that Republicans are worried that he would run again in 4 years? Or are they hopeful that he would run again in 4 years? Does anyone really care if he'll run again in 4 years?
I think that the key is the voters that he has in his pocket. In a sense, the essence of Donald Trump right now is the support that he has and he can use as either a kingmaker or to deliver to Republicans who are running for national office. And that support is significant enough that I think the Republicans are going to be very wary about alienating him. I don't know that they think he's actually going to run again, but they think that he will probably dangle that possibility, perhaps also use it as a way of enticing some of the Republican candidates who will announce for the presidency to court his support. So there will be something of that. He has an enormous amount of influence still within the party. It's clear that many in the base still support him, and that's something that the Republicans have to deal with.
Yeah, and I really am fascinated by this. I know he's no longer in office, but just moving forward, I'm fascinated because you're right. He has, a power base, his core there, even though I think in recent days we've seen some of those from the Proud Boys and others kind of abandoning him to some degree. So I'm not just sure how powerful that is, but I just wonder moving forward if he doesn't run and you wonder if he is going to put his support behind someone else, because here's the simple fact. Not his kids, no one close to him. There is not another Donald Trump out there. Period. End of story. Right. And if his core supporters are really just into it because of who he is and his cult of personality, there is no one. And I'm telling you, forget it. His kids aren't him. I mean, he is unto himself, in my opinion. So I don't know how it translates. And you also get the sense whoever, takes the support that he may offer will be beholden to him. And I wonder if they want that.
Well, that's the challenge for the Republicans, is I think that in some states Trump is so strong that they don't want to take the chance that if he turns on them, he might encourage a primary candidate to oppose him. That's one of the things that has been reported, is that he's thinking of going after the 10 Republican Congress people who voted against him in the impeachment, that he's going to encourage primary challenges to all of them. So there is this notion of him as a large looming presence within the Republican Party, commanding a substantial political support and still trying to use that support, even if it's not for his own personal benefit and he doesn't run again in 2024.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Well, let's take a few phone calls before we take our first break, and we'll move through this. We'll start off with Cindy. Cindy, good morning. Hi, Cindy.
Good morning, Dick. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
All I got to say is, boy, when it came to the health care, boy, I got whammied, and I pay for mine, okay? I pay for it. And the medications that I've been on, that I've had for years, that are for my lungs, and restricting and to immediately stop the COPD attacks, which is because my pipes are too small, the arteries that go to the heart, so the blood can't flow. And I swear, it'll put you on the ground. I've laid on the ground on Nashville sidewalks. Oh my God, oh my God. Leave me alone for about 10 minutes. To my friends, when I'm holding, I'm like, don't call an ambulance. I've been through it before. So that's one of the concerns I'm concerned. But the pipeline, I really wanted that.
Okay, she's bouncing around on this, but she hits on two issues real quick. All right, let's talk about the executive orders from Biden, and with regard to former President Trump going after the Affordable Health Act or Health Care Act, and maybe trying to reverse some of what Trump did. Now Biden moving forward, and what it means for those who are getting this type of health care coverage. What do you see there? Are they going to try to preserve and reverse some of what the last administration was trying to do to try to reduce the benefits with regard to that?
Well, I think they're actually in pretty good shape on what we'd call Obamacare. It was not repealed. It's still in force. Biden wants to expand, perhaps providing a public option within Obamacare. So I don't think that's going to be as big an issue, and it was not in the sort of early priorities of the Biden administration. So I think on that score, we're just going to see basically a continuation of what has been going on, and perhaps an expansion of Obamacare. The other point you brought up, of course, was the cancellation of the pipeline, which is a different issue and does reflect the priorities of the environmental wing of the Democratic Party, as opposed to, you might say, the old-fashioned union jobs and energy sectors of the economy.
Yeah, and the drilling in the Arctic Wildlife Refuge was something that they actually did manage to, before the administration's changed, do a bidding process on it, and it was a miserable failure. I mean, everyone knows it was going to be locked up, and so there may indeed be oil up there, and there's a real controversy on whether or not you should drill up there. But there was the opportunity here for some of the big companies to bid, and they didn't. My understanding is only one plot was purchased by a small producer of oil, and all the others just stayed away. So it was a moot point anyway. But it seems like Biden has made it clear he's against drilling there anyway.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't. Yeah. I think that was so clear that no company was going to take that opportunity. They just recognized that it would be reversed.
Yeah, just not worth the effort. Listen, on that note, we'll take a break. When we come back, we've got Ann, Barry, and others on hold. If you have questions, comments on what we see happening along these lines, stay with us. We'll get to you right after this.